Fairfield Media Productions is proud to present FCA on LSN and FMP Sports on fairfieldmedia.tv.
FCA on LSN, brought to you in part by
Service Master Clean by Todd George. They are proud to be the only Green Seal certified janitorial service in Central Ohio and promise to do the job right or do it over. 740-687-1077.
Thompson Concrete, a full-service concrete company. Online at thompsonconcrete.com.
Fairfield Mini Storage is located on East Main Street in Lancaster, or find them online at ffministorage.com.
Discover your promise in academics, in athletics, or in theater at Ohio University Lancaster and Pickerington. Online at lancaster.ohiou.edu.
Let Matt Gray motivate you or your group for change. You can visit him online at maxspeaking.com.
In Focus Consulting, the data agency. Online at infocusconsulting.com.
Fairfield Christian Church, located near the River Valley Mall in Lancaster. Online at fairfieldcc.com.
The Frank E. Smith Funeral Home. Respect for tradition, regard for change. Available online at funeralhome.com.
Roger Weaver and the Weaver Law Offices. Online at weaver-law.com.
Redeemer Lutheran Church and Dr. Jack Davidson. You can visit them online at redeemerlancaster.org.
Thanks for watching FCA on LSN.
Thanks for watching FCA on LSN.
American Idol asked us to sum up our life goals, and I said I wanted to be a loving father and a faithful husband and a servant of all. And I think the servant of all, that's the main one, and I think that's what we're called to be. And it's to give our life for God, to give our life for those around us, to give our life for the good fight. My name is Jason Castro, and I am second.
Welcome everybody to Take It to the Field, presented by Service Master Clean by Todd George. This is the FCA on LSN Game of the Week, FCA versus New Miami. Thank you for tuning in this week. I am Caleb Candra, your host, and today with me, like always, is Fairfield Christian Academy head coach David Dottmeyer. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Caleb. Great to be here. Thanks.
That's great. And after last week's big win, really, for the team after beating Fisher Catholic 26-7 and having lots of turnovers, and just tell me how you felt about that game, and
we're always happy to win a game, and certainly always happy to beat Fisher Catholic, what's becoming a cross-town rival for us. First of all, I just got to say how hard they played. I really felt we had them outmanned. But man, those kids played hard. The thing that stuck out most in my mind, Caleb, about that football game is I've never played in a football game that was so hot. It's like 2 days practice. You know what that's like. But right. To be out there and playing hard in that environment when it was 90-some degrees and the humidity was really, really high, I think it really affected both teams.
Right.
A lot of mental mistakes I felt our guys made. I'm sure that Coach Herbst feels that their guys made a lot of mental mistakes too. There's an old adage that Vince Lombardi made when he coached the Green Bay Packers. He said, "Fatigue makes cowards of us all." And what he meant by that is when you get tired, man, your concentration level isn't very high. So we made a lot of mistakes we shouldn't have made, as did Fisher Catholic. We're certainly happy to come away with a 26-7 win. But we feel that we have the potential to play a lot better than we did.
Right now, as you go into New Miami, what are the things we're looking at? You could take from the last 2 weeks, because you had that 71-6 win over Millersport, and then you had the 26-7 win over Fisher Catholic. That momentum you've been taking from another great 2-0 start against two of what is rivals here in Fairfield County. What do you take as you go down to Cincinnati to play New Miami?
Same thing we're always trying to tell our guys: get better every game. Well, do all that you can do and do it to the best of your ability. So we go to a stretch now where we're on the road a lot. We go clear to New Miami. It's about it's almost a 2.5-hour trip. We come back from New Miami, go to Franklin Furnace Green the next week, which is another 2.5-hour drive. Then come back and go back to Portsmouth Notre Dame, which is a 2-hour drive the next 3 weeks. So we go into a real road show the next 3 weeks. We tell our guys that part of it is the mental toughness of being able to get on that bus and make that long ride and stay focused when you get off the bus. So we have a work cut out for us against New Miami. They're 1-1. They beat Gamble Montessori the first game, and last week lost to I believe it's not Middletown Christian, but Miami Valley Christian School, 30-28 in overtime. So they're a good football team, and we're going to have to play well.
Yeah. Well, great having you on again, Coach, and I wish you the best, and thank you for tuning in to this week's edition of Take It to the Field, presented by Service Master Clean by Todd George. Service Master Clean by Todd George, janitorial cleaning, commercial floor care, and proud to be the only Green Seal certified janitorial service in Central Ohio. They promise to do the job right or do it over. Service Master Clean by Todd George can be contacted at 740-687-1077. Thank them for sponsoring FMP Sports. Fairfield Christian Academy versus New Miami is coming up right after this.
We're gonna have a real good time. We're gonna have a real good time. We're gonna have a real good
The Ohio High School Athletic Association recently celebrated its centennial. For more than 100 years, they have administered school sports as an important part of educational programs in Ohio. They believe in Ohio student athletes and the importance of the promotion of academics, good citizenship, and lifelong values. Visit OHSAA.org for more information and join us in supporting school sports in Ohio.
Miami, Ohio. It's FCA football on LSN.
Go
FCA
Hayden.
has
Go Hayden. Down the sideline, Hayden Welch.
And he's tripped up at the 5-yard line.
Wow. I'll tell you, Jack, that was interesting. The Knights actually just kind of let the ball bounce. The up guys really just waited for Hayden to pick it up. I wasn't sure he was going to, but he picked it up, somehow maneuvered through traffic and took it down to the 5-yard line.
This is Jack Davidson along with Rob Bowler, Athletic Director at FCA. Glad to have you with us on LSN. This is FCA football on LSN. And this will be FCA's first possession. And the familiar quarterback Luke Johnson behind center. Tobin and Faturo in the backfield. 13 seconds clicked off the clock. Nick Spurgis goes right. Welch ride wide left. Faturo up the middle, touchdown.
Well, that was a really nice block by sophomore Ben Tobin leading the way, giving Sammy Faturo a clean hole to score that 5-yard run.
So Sam Faturo puts FCA on the board with a 5-yard touchdown run, which took 4 seconds off the clock.
And you know, I'll give credit to the center and to the right guard, Joey Gall and
Ben Miller, or Brian Miller.
Brian Miller, a junior and a sophomore.
Hayden Welch on to kick the extra point. Luke holding, ball down, kick is up, and it's no good.
No good.
Right.
You know, interestingly enough, Fairfield Christian Academy, although they defeated Fisher Catholic 26-7 last week, did not convert an extra point through the uprights. They got a 2-point conversion and had 3 other kicks fail. So on the last 4 kick attempts for Fairfield Christian Academy, they failed to make any of them.
Give you a little background information. New Miami comes in tonight with a record of 1-1. FCA with a record of 2-0, defeating Millersport and Fisher Catholic. Coach Dave Daubmeyer is the coach for FCA, and the coach for New Miami, Jeff Jewett. I'd like to remind you that FCA on LSN Game of the Week brought to you by Service Master Clean by Todd George. janitorial cleaning, commercial floor care, and proud to be the only Green Seal certified janitorial service in Central Ohio. They promise to do the job right or do it over. Service Master Clean by Todd George can be contacted at 687-1077. And we thank Todd George and Service Master Clean for supporting Fairfield Media Productions Sports. Hayden Welch on to kick the ball off, teed up at the 40. Back deep, Cody Wallen. Wallen will take it at about the 7.
Bobby Furturo.
Number 5, Cody Wallen on the return.
You know, Bobby Furturo has been an absolute demon on the special teams, kick coverage, punt coverage, particularly kickoff coverage.
Down around the 22-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10, Vikings.
So here we have Sammy Furturo scoring the first touchdown, a junior, and his younger brother Bobby, a sophomore, making the tackle on the kickoff.
1st and 10 for New Miami. Little misdirection there, and is
you know what happened?
Chris Kellum's knee touched the ground.
Absolutely. He was not ready. The snap hit him in the midsection, fell to the ground, and he got down to one knee to pick it up, and there he was down.
Today's starting lineup brought to you by Weaver Law Offices. There you see the starting lineup, the offensive line for New Miami. Lips, Hayes, Mills, Mellott, Lakes, and Bruce. Set the backfield for you in a minute. I believe that was Markham, the ball carrier, up the middle.
You know, although that was a very short gain for the Vikings, as you can see, Jack, you and I can look on their rosters and see how big their offensive line is. Number 75 for them, Greg Goins, knocked over 2 Knights on that play. So we'll see how the game wears on. We'll see how that big offensive line for the Vikings, see if they can wear down the Knights.
Chris Kellum's the quarterback. Cody Wallen, Clay Williams the running backs. Pass out to the flat to Cody Wallen, and he's tackled immediately. Good defense there by Joey Gall.
Joey Gall, I think Sammy Furturo was in on that as well.
That'll be a 4th down and about.
Looks like a kicking situation coming up for the Vikings.
Got Furturo and Welch back in dual safety.
Sammy's already returned 1 punt for a touchdown. Hayden nearly returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown. So 2 dangerous guys for the Vikings.
We'll set the FCA offense for you here momentarily when they get the ball. Bobbled snap, short punt. Hits at the 40 and will stop just shy of the 45. FCA offense brought to you by Roger Weaver Law Offices.
44-yard line.
Familiar group up front. Brian Miller, Joey Gall, Austin Dixon, Josh Coleman, Kenny Burcham. Colin Young also be playing tight end. And then we'll set the backfield for you in a minute. Ben Tobin, the up back. Furturo, the deep back. Johnson rolls right. Intercepted.
And that is a Vikings
Chris Kellum with the
3,
interception.
Chris Kellum.
You know, one of the things the Knights do a lot, they try to score touchdowns on plays. A lot of teams are looking to get first downs, gain some yardage. The Knights look for the big play pretty often. And on that play, the wide receiver, Nick Spurgis, just kind of ran down, didn't even turn around to look at the ball until he was about 30 yards down the field. I think Luke Johnson thought he was going to run a stop pattern, and they just weren't on the same page.
Let's set the FCA defense for you shortly after this snap. Kellum, the quarterback. And we have penalty flags. Let's set the FCA defense for you.
Start offense.
5-yard penalty.
That's
First
flags
down.
on the play. It's a false start on the Vikings.
Looks like we got
5-yard
Caleb
penalty,
Waltz
so
out there
first
along
down.
with Kenny Burcham, Colin Young. Linebackers Luke Johnson, Brian Miller, we got Nick Spurgis out there, Ben Tobin, Futuro, and Welch are your cornerbacks.
Joey Goal in the middle. Joey's going to make a lot of tackles tonight. Missed the tackle there, though.
Markham with a good gain.
Run down by Kenny Burcham. Looks like about a 6-yard gain.
Gain of about 9 yards. It'll be a second down and about 6.
Starting lineups today have been brought to you by Weaver Law Offices, dedicated to serving all of Central Ohio with competent, qualified, and timely legal assistance at reasonable rates. Roger Weaver is a name you know, experience you can trust. You can contact the Weaver Law Offices, 834-1750, or online at weaver-law.com. Good play there by Colin Young.
Caleb Walls made the first hit.
Cody Brown on
Colin
the
helped out, so nice play by a freshman there, Caleb Walls.
About 5 yards. It'll be a third
First
down
quarter action of
and
FCA and LSN brought to you by Thompson Concrete, the full-service company offering commercial, residential, decorative, excavation, and foundation services with the ability to handle every detail of large, complex concrete projects. Thompson Concrete, located in Carroll, Ohio. They can be reached at 756-7256 or online at thompsonconcrete.com.
Ben Tobin goes up and gives him another man on the front.
Kellum out to Markham. Brought down by Futuro. Will be short of the first down. Will be fourth and probably about 4. They'll mark it at the 48.
About a 6-yard gain, maybe 5.
The Vikings
47.
The Vikings look to use their girth.
And 5.
We've mentioned their offensive line. They have 2 guards, one who's listed at 6'4", 340, the other one who's listed at 6'4", 335. I believe they only threw 11 passes last week.
Bad snap.
Over the head, that's 2 in a row.
Here comes Nick Spurgis, and the punter, Wallen, just downs the football. Good field position once again for FCA with 7:50 to go first quarter.
22-yard line.
You know, here the Knights are getting ready to start their third possession, which will be their third offensive play. Both of the first 2 possessions were 1 play each. And this is also the third possession to begin in Vikings territory.
They've had great starting field position and possession too. Got Johnson at quarterback, Tobin and Futuro in the backfield. Spurgis to the top of the screen. Split right, Hayden Welch. Futuro off the right end. Might have lost a yard.
You know, the Knights, even in the scrimmages this year, although they piled up statistically good games running the ball, it's mostly been between the tackles. They've struggled this year to run anything around either tackle.
56, TJ Lakes. And number 2, Jacob Newton.
Key to FCA's offense this year and defense will be the play of line, won't it?
Down and 11.
Backs in the eye. Got Tony Welch up on top. Futuro around left end. He's got room. He's got a first down.
Number 34,
yeah,
inside the 10, about the 9-yard line.
Number 30,
well, as soon as I say they've struggled the ball to run the outside, Sammy goes outside. Good block by Colin Young, a sophomore,
for the Knights.
The tight end on that side, and sprung him for about 12 yards. 15 yards. For some reason, they haven't moved the chains. Oh, it's first and goal. Okay.
First and goal on, we'll call it the 9. Flip to Futuro. Bulls up the middle, gains a few. I'll mark it at the 6. Second and goal.
And there we had another brother tandem for the Knights. Tony Welch was split right on that play. His older brother Hayden split left. The Knights are actually seeking their 12th regular season win in a row tonight.
Johnson flipped to Futuro. And it'll be another touchdown for the Knights.
Touchdown for the Knights, number 34, Sam Fraturo on the
Sam
carry.
Fraturo with his second TD of the night, a 6-yard run.
Boy, that was wide open. Both times they've run left. The left side of the Knights line has really opened up huge holes. And part of that could be, too, they have a lot of weight, a lot of girth on the defensive line for the Vikings, but maybe not a whole lot of quickness.
Now they'll go for 2 with Johnson over center. Think they'll run the same play, Rob?
Looks like it. And it is well blocked again.
And the 2-point conversion is good. Number 34, Fraturo.
Well, 14-0. Sammy Fraturo has scored 14 of those 14 points with a little help from his friends.
And with 6:02 to go in the first quarter, FCA leads New Miami by a score of 14-0. I want to remind you, FCA on LSN, the game of the week brought to you by Service Master Clean by Todd George, janitorial cleaning, commercial floor care, and proud to be the only Green Seal certified janitorial service in Central Ohio. They promise to do the job right or do it over. Service Master Clean by Todd George can be contacted at 687-1077. We thank them for supporting FCA Sports on LSN. Also, first quarter action of FCA and LSN brought to you by Thompson Concrete, a full-service company offering commercial, residential, decorative, excavation, and foundation services with the ability to handle every detail of large, complex concrete projects. Thompson Concrete is located in Carroll, Ohio, and can be reached at 756-7256 or online at thompsonconcrete.com. Hayden Welch to kick the ball off once again to the Vikings of New Miami. Back deep, Nick Hayes and Cody Wallem. Hayes has it, 15 to the 20. Skips a couple tackles and brought down shy of the 30. Penalty flags.
Looks like maybe number 14, Tyler Stevens for the Knights, who kind of just fell on the pile after the play was over. It looks like he might be called for a late hit. I'm not sure he actually even hit him. He just kind of sat down and put his shoulder next to him.
Play? Okay.
We shall see. Personal foul on the Knights. Good call, Rob.
15 yards.
Tonight's officials are Tim Baumgardner, the referee, Don Davis, the umpire, linesman Virgil Knapp, line judge Neil Niederding, and the back judge Nathan Whiteley.
You know, Jack, I wouldn't really have anticipated. I mean, we'll see how the game goes. We're still only halfway through the first quarter. But last year, this was a closer game than the score indicated. The Vikings actually turned the ball over 5 times in the first half. The Knights took advantage, but both teams moved the ball effectively. In fact, the Vikings had over 500 yards rushing last year.
And looking at the newspaper reports, they do like to run the football.
Yes, and they have the big guys up front. They should be able to do that.
Wallen on the end around, and Colin Young there to snuff it out.
Yeah, I think
Bobby Fraturo there too.
Yeah, Bobby turned him in, grabbed his legs, and made the tackle along with Colin there to force him.
Good penetration. It'll be second and long for the Vikings. Call it 2nd and 15.
Now you would think with the amount of size that the Vikings have on their offensive line that they might be more apt to run up the middle, just push people around. But so far, they've only tried that one time.
Kellum, the quarterback, in the shotgun. And it's intercepted. No, it's incomplete. Good anticipation by the Knights defense, and that was Austin Mosley who fell on the ball.
Yeah, the Knights got a finger on it, and Austin almost came up with it.
Good penetration by the line. It looked like to be a screen pass that was snuffed out nicely. 3rd and long. We'll say 3rd and 15. Ball on the 39-yard line.
You know, I'll just add to that. I was talking about the anticipation of maybe how this game would play out. Although the Vikings are 1-1, they lost. The one game they lost was in overtime on a 2-point conversion last week where, according to the newspaper clippings, looked like they might have scored.
So throw out to the flat, incomplete. Good pass rush there. We had Bobby Fraturo coming in, along with Luke Johnson on the blitz. Vikings will punt it away once again.
Looks like the quarterback, Chris Kellum, for the Vikings. It looks like it might be a challenge for him to throw downfield. So far, every pass they've tried has been a quick hitter. It's been a short pass. It's been out to the flat, a screen over the middle. They haven't really, I'm not sure if he has the arm to throw deep downfield.
Cody Wallen is the punter. There's a good snap. Ball's away, end over end short kick.
Knights need to find the ball.
And that will rest at the 46-yard line.
And here we are again, Jack, getting ready for the Knights' fourth possession of the night. And they are within 5 yards of being again in Viking territory. So ironically enough, their worst field position of the night is their own 46-yard line.
I think Coach Dobmeyer take that every time, right?
Yeah, just what the doctor ordered.
Spurgis wide right and Welch wide left. Backs in the eye. It's Tobin and Faturo. Johnson looking long for Hayden Welch. Just overthrows him at the 15-yard line. That was a play they hit all last year.
Yes, they did. And again, that's the Knights style. They try to score. They don't just try to get first downs. They don't just try to move the ball or eat up the clock. They try to score on a lot of plays.
2nd and 10 on the Knights 46. Colin Young tied at left end. Spurgis wide left. Hayden Welch wide right. Give to Faturo up the middle. Keeps the legs moving. He'll gain about 6.
Number 34, Sam.
Nice run,
down.
nice hole. Again, they go to the left side of the center, and it's open. One thing that Sammy does have a tendency to do, he did fumble last week against Fisher Catholic on a punt return, and you can see when he runs, he swings both arms. He does not hold the ball up tight under his armpit, up at his chest. He swings his right arm with the ball in it. That's something he's going to have to watch as we go through this year.
Tony Welch now in as a wide receiver. Johnson rolling right, looks, he's got Hayden. Welch, nice move down the sideline, just steps out of bounds.
Number 5,
inside the 30 at about the 28.
There's a flag down on the play.
3, Chris Kellum.
Looks like the Knights may have had an illegal man downfield. You could see when Luke was rolling out, he wanted to get rid of the ball earlier. He wasn't able to, and I think that delay of a couple of seconds caused linemen to get downfield for the Knights.
5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Still 3rd down.
So that'll back the Knights up.
Man on the downfield for the Knights. That is a 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
And it'll be, we'll say 3rd and 9. It'll be a long 9, maybe 10.
So far, the Vikings have really not been able to get any pass rush whatsoever. 3 big guys in the center of their line, but they're really not moving very well.
Spurgis out wide right. Johnson looks for Nick, overthrows him. So the Knights will punt it away.
Pass intended for number 8.
You know, we've seen Nick on that play all year when as the Knights run the slant.
Incomplete.
He's very leery of running over the middle. You can see on that play, although it was over his head, he was prepared to stop before the ball got there. And really, Nick has a matchup that he should take advantage of. The guy who's playing him man-to-man is not as fast as him, is not as big as him, doesn't weigh as much as him. Really, Nick should be able to have, he and Hayden should both have big nights.
Kellum and Wallen back in dual safety. Zach Sullivan to punt. Low snap.
No, he did not touch his knee. That's what they're going to call, possibly.
We got a flag on the play.
No, they're not. I thought for a second there they were going to say that the punter was down. He did bend over to get it, but no, that doesn't appear to be the call.
Illegal substitution.
Illegal
on the
substitution.
receiving team.
It's on the
5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
That is a penalty against New Miami for 5 yards.
Looks like they had 12 men on the field. In fact, they do. They're running the 12th man off the field
Still
right now.
4th down.
So 4th and 5, and it looks like the Knights will go for it.
Again, that's Coach Dobemeyer's style. He goes for it on 4th down quite often. He really puts the pressure on his team to perform and on the defense to stop him.
Hayden Welch wide right. Spurgis up to the top of the screen.
Now Hayden's got a fantastic matchup.
And that penalty is on the offensive line. Looks like Austin Dixon.
Yeah.
False start offense.
And here comes the punt team.
Yeah. Penalty. Still
And really with that matchup,
That
number 3, the quarterback for the Vikings on Hayden Welch, honestly, the Knights should score every time. They had no safety in the middle of the field. That should be a touchdown every time.
So we'll do this punt again with Kellum and Wallen back in dual safety for the Vikings. Zach Sullivan to punt. Good snap, nice punt. Little spiral there. Fumbled and immediately tackled by Tony Welch and Bobby Faturo.
Yes, and there's Bobby again on special teams. The guy makes tackle after tackle after tackle.
And looks like we got...
Looks like Tony's slow getting up there.
Yeah, maybe got the wind knocked out of him. .347 to go. First quarter with Rob Bowler. This is Jack Davidson along with the FCA media team. Stay tuned for halftime, where FCA will be honoring the first responders of 9/11. It's a great piece for halftime and be very moving.
Well, they have no one split out for the Vikings. They run it up the middle, as their size would suggest that they should, and they get about 5 yards.
Like Colin Young in there on the tackle. Patrick Markham, the running back.
It's going to be a 2nd down and 6.
2nd and 6. Falls on the 20, looks like the 28-yard line. Kellum.
Another run right up the gut, this time stuffed.
That running back, I believe, was Wallen.
Cody Brown on the
No, make it Cody Brown.
Hit by 2 linebackers on that play, junior Joey Gall and sophomore Brian Miller.
So it'll be 3rd, and we'll say 5. Just shy of the 30-yard line. I don't know about you, but these numbers for New Miami are very difficult. The black on the green, dark green.
Right.
Don't ever go to that color combination, okay, as athletic director?
Thank you, thank you.
Motion left. That's Williams.
Well, they are going to throw long this play.
And it's almost intercepted by Nick Spurgis.
Yeah,
intended receiver was Cody Brown.
Nick definitely got a hand on it. As you said, he almost came down with it, but he also almost misjudged that and let the ball get over his head.
And if Nick was able to pull that down, he had a lot of room to run.
He did.
So we've got Sam Faturo and Hayden Welch back at the 40-yard line of the Knights.
You know, I'm going to say, Jack, any kickoff or punt should be a red flag. Fire alarm should go off for the Vikings. They don't appear to have the speed and the athleticism that the Knights do. These could all be big plays for the Knights.
Line drive kick. Hayden Welch has it. The 44, 50, looking for running room. And he's going to lose some yardage there and be brought down at about the 40. They'll mark it the 48-yard line.
Return tackled by 4 Vikings.
Yeah, he was actually hit at the 48. For some reason, though, they're marking it back on the 40. No, they are going to mark it closer to the 48.
2:07 to go first quarter.
And here the Knights are again near midfield, almost in Viking territory. Hayden is split out, in all honesty, with the defender that cannot stay with him.
Johnson. Back to pass, and he falls down. He slipped, and that should be a roughing the passer.
Well, you know what? He's going to
wave it off.
Although you're right, he was down. The referee had not blown the whistle.
His knee touched.
You know, I watched Hayden Welch on that play. He ran right by the guy they do not have any corners or safeties on the Vikings team that can stay with any of the wide receivers. If Luke can stay up, if they can give him 2 or 3 seconds, it's just a matter of whether the pass is going to be accurate and whether they're going to catch it, because the Vikings cannot stay with any of the Knights receivers.
2nd and long for the Knights. Give to Faturo. He's got a lot of running room. Still moving, and he gains a lot of that back. That's about a 15-yard gain for Sam.
Tackled by number
Ball
2,
be marked just shy of the 45 of the New Miami Vikings. That hole opened up in the middle quick, didn't it?
Yeah, huge hole, huge hole. 3rd and 5. First time as they've run right that they've had that big of a hole, but the offense for the Knights should put up some numbers this evening.
3rd and 4. Pitch to Faturo. Cuts back. He's got the first down. And he's still moving.
Looks like it could have been a face mask there. They did not call it.
That's first down for the Knights.
Sammy did get the first down. One of the things I hope Sammy does in the future is, as he is close to the first down, he started to run sideways to break it outside. He should have just gotten the first down first and then cut it out. So it worked out. He got it. But he ran the risk of being pushed back.
I don't know about you, Rob, but that looks like a first down to me.
It's definitely a first down.
They haven't called it yet.
No, they haven't. Not, unless the chain gang are not accurate, it's definitely a first down.
Here we go.
Okay.
That's a first down for the Knights.
Now, I'm going to say that all Coach Dobbelmeyer was wanting to do was get a first down after Luke slipped. I would be shocked if he doesn't go to Hayden Welch. And again, if it's an accurate pass and they give him time, it's going to be a touchdown.
They only play, New Miami only plays with 3 defensive backs.
Another flag on the play.
Flag on the play. Hayden breaks a tackle. Still going. But you're right, Rob. That's all Coach Dobbelmeyer wanted to do is get the ball in.
Another flag, another late flag on the play. Not sure what that even was. The guy who threw it was in the middle of the field, about 30 yards away from any player on either team.
So we have a conference there of the officials. We'll see how they sort this out. 34.6 seconds to go in the first quarter. FCA leads 14-0. Stay tuned at halftime as FCA honors the first responders of 9/11.
We got live ball, dead ball fouls.
We got
a live ball foul on the offense for the illegal cut block. Here. Then we got a dead ball personal foul on Green. We will administer both penalties as they occurred.
He doesn't have a microphone because we can't read lips from
where
we're at.
I think I might have heard him say they're going to enforce both penalties.
So that'd be a first down for the Knights.
I think so. I think that they'll run it back, and then once they assess the personal foul against the Vikings, they'll be back close to where they started, but it will be a first down.
It'll be first and long for the Knights.
I think it may end up being 1st and 10. We'll see.
Well, let's see. Now they're okay. Now it's going to be first and, if they keep the chains there, it looks like it's going to be 1st and 9.
Yeah.
Which is you don't see that every day in football, do you?
You don't. I wouldn't be surprised if Luke just stands up, fakes a throw to Hayden, draws the defender up, he can go right by him. In fact, Hayden can go right by him anyway.
33 seconds and counting here in the first quarter. Johnson.
Hayden is wide open again.
There's Hayden Welch, catches it, drops it. That was a good play by the cornerback there. It might have been linebacker Patrick Markham.
Yeah.
To come up and make the play. It might have been Stephen Rogers. No, Stephen Rogers, I think, stripped Hayden of the ball.
If Hayden would have slowed down and not caught the ball behind him as he did, he would not have run the risk of having the ball stripped out. If he had just slowed down a little bit, caught the ball out in front where he could protect the ball with his body.
Personal foul on New Miami.
15 yards, first down.
Should be an automatic first down for the Knights.
Yeah. Personal foul on the Vikings, a 15-yard penalty.
The Knights have self-destructed a little bit on offense, but fortunately for them, New Miami has bailed them out a couple of times with personal fouls.
So Luke Johnson sends his troops to the line with 18.8 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Knights lead 14-0. And around to Tony Welch.
Oh, Tony.
He'll have a nice little gain there of about 7 yards. And that should do it for the first quarter. After 1 quarter of play, FCA leads New Miami 14-0. This is FCA football on
FCA on LSN. Brought to you in part by
Thompson Concrete, a full-service concrete company. Online at thompsonconcrete.com.
Service Clean by Todd George. They are proud to be the only Green Seal certified janitorial service in Central Ohio and promise to do the job right or do it over. 740-687-1077.
Let Mac Gray motivate you or your group for change. You can visit him online at macspeaking.com.
Roger Weaver and the Weaver Law Offices online at weaver-law.com.
Thanks for watching FCA on LSN.
Thanks for watching FCA on LSN.
Second quarter action at FCA and LSN is brought to you in part by Fairfield Mini Storage, the place to store your personal or business goods in a clean, dry unit within a gated facility. They have outside storage for RVs and boats. They're Lancaster source for Penske truck rentals. Fairfield Mini Storage located at 2230 East Main Street. In Lancaster, you can find them on the web at ffministorage.com.
You know, Jack, I'm going to go back to the last play of the first quarter. It was an extremely well-blocked play. Tony Welch running around the left end. He did get about 7 yards, as you mentioned. But, you know, as a running back, a wide receiver, an end around, you want to get more than what is blocked for you. And Tony really only got what was blocked for him, what he couldn't help but get. If he would have cut it inside, planted his left foot, and really run inside, or just sprinted outside, I think he would have had a chance for a big play there. Now we've got Hayden Welch split right. He's way out wide. Again, it's an obvious mismatch. If we make the right cut and the pass is accurate, we should score a touchdown.
2nd and 4 for the Knights. Ball about the 21. Give to Ben Tobin, and he's stuffed at the line.
And that's the one advantage that it looks like that the Vikings have against the Knights. They do have a bigger offensive and defensive line than the Knights.
Number 62, Robert Lips.
It looks like if the Knights will go out wide, run some short passes, spread the field a little bit, run those sweeps as they've been running, a little misdirection, it looks like the reaction time of the Vikings will just not allow them to make the plays. But if we run right at them, they are a little bigger.
3rd and 5. Johnson, two-step drop, overthrows Colin Young. He's wide open.
He was wide open. In fact, there's a flag on the play. We'll see who it's against. Every pass play the Knights have run has been open. It's been a matter of an inaccurate pass, not lining up with the wide receiver, running the right pattern, having the ball slapped away. But every time they've run a pass play, it's been wide open.
It's either going to be back 15 or 4th down. We'll go back.
The Knights, honestly, have been extremely sloppy tonight on offense.
Shot block again.
Cut block on the offense. 15 yards from the previous spot. Still 3rd down.
That's a cut block on the Knights. 15-yard penalty.
Now I see that Austin Dixon was out of the game and the offensive line replaced by Mark Davidson.
Who is that character, huh?
Yeah, so I'm thinking maybe Austin was involved in that penalty as he was on the first penalty.
Johnson, draw play to Faturo. He's got a lot of real estate. He may go.
Open.
Touchdown, Sam Faturo and the Knights.
Number 34, Sam Faturo.
Well, the Vikings really showed a tremendous lack of discipline, just rushing, getting up the field. They've done that 2 or 3 times, running right by a ball carrier. I'm sure they're not coached to just go right after the quarterback when he has a running back to hand the ball off and run right past him.
We'll say that was a 35-yard touchdown run by Sammy.
And here we are, 20-0. So far, Sam Faturo has accounted for all 20 points. Again, well blocked, plays that are open.
Hayden Welch on for the point after. Ball down, kick is up, and did he sneak it in? He did.
And the after point attempt is good.
So, with 11-12 to go in the first half, the Knights lead by a score of 21-0. Second quarter action of FCA and LSN brought to you in part by Fairfield Mini Storage, the place to store your personal or business goods in a clean, dry unit within a gated facility. They have outside storage for RVs and boats, and their Lancaster source for Penske truck rentals. Fairfield Mini Storage, located at 2230 East Main Street in Lancaster. You can find them on the web at ffministorage.com. Stay tuned for the special at halftime, FCA's tribute to the 9/11 first responders, the halftime program. FCA and LSN brought to you in part by Frankie Smith Funeral Home in Lancaster, Ohio, and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore, Ohio. They have a long and excellent history of serving our community in time of loss. Frankie Smith Funeral Home has a respect for tradition, regard for change. They're available online at funeralhome.com.
You know, Jack, I did notice during that timeout there after the extra point was converted that both Coach Dobemeyer and assistant coach Norm Emmets were talking vigorously to the official that's thrown and called those two chop blocks.
Hayden Welch with the kickoff. New Miami has it, and that is Cody Wallum, and he'll be dropped about the 21-yard line.
You know, so far the Knights have done a very good job tonight covering kicks and punts, and they did it. They were very, very disciplined as they ran down the field there. Everybody staying within their lanes.
Down on about the 21-yard
So
line.
1st and 10 for New Miami at their own 21.
Looks like Tony Welch is coming in to give Sammy Fraturo a little break there at the corner position for the Knights. So again, we've got brothers Hayden and Tony, the two corners for the Knights as they line up on defense.
Penalty flags.
Looks like we've got illegal motion against the Vikings.
5 yards, still first down.
And make it 1st and
That's
15.
Be an offsides call on the Vikings. Be a 5-yard penalty, first down and 15.
Well, we got a minute. I want to thank the media team because they are the ones that get us on the air. JT Burcham, Jeremy Hall, Caleb Candra, Austin Starkey, Joe McCoy, Andrew Lundell, Alex Carroll, Jesse McCoy, and Dane Alexander. I think Dane is going to try to talk to the coach when he leaves the field at halftime.
Knights obviously expecting a run. Have 10 of the 11 guys within about 5 yards of the line of scrimmage, and they stuff the play.
I believe that was Markham on the ball carry. Nope. Check that. That was Cody Wallen.
Cody Wallen on the carry.
Markham is a big kid, and again, the Vikings have a lot of guys with size.
Second
they
down
have
and 12.
about 8 players over 200 pounds. They have 2 players listed as over 340 pounds. So they have a big group.
2nd and 12. Ball on the 19-yard line. There's Patrick Markham. Breaks a tackle and brought down by Ben Tobin. It'll be a first down just over the 40-yard line.
First down for the Vikings.
The Knights
taken down on about the 41-yard line.
Didn't really attack there, just kind of waited to react. Hayden went after the guy, but wasn't his best effort.
10-11 to go first half. This is Jack Davis along with Rob Bowler. New Miami High School. Next week we come to you from Franklin Furnace. Quarterback keeper and Ben Tobin.
Yeah.
Stuffed that one.
Chris Kellum on the carry.
Ben Tobin's a part of what looks like it's going to be a very good sophomore class for the Knights. Lines up at linebacker, reads the quarterback, and throws him for a loss.
Official timeout. Now you mentioned the sophomore class. How are the other teams doing, the football teams?
The junior high team is 0-2. They played a very, very good Alexander Albany team, played their 8th grade team. And our team, Fairfield Christian Academy's junior high team, is pretty well split between 7th and 8th graders, and lost a very close 14-6 game to St. Mary's. They play their 3rd game tomorrow in Columbus.
2nd and 11. Nice play there by Bobby Futuro on the blitz.
Number 3,
that's a quarterback sack.
Tackled by number 7.
You know, the Futuros, both Sammy and Bobby, you see it on special teams with Bobby so often. You saw it right there defensively. They run, they play with such intensity. They are after the ball. They don't tiptoe around. They don't wait for the runner to get in front of them and kind of tackle them and ride them down from behind.
3rd and 15.
They just attack the ball. They play at a fast pace.
3rd and 15. Ball on the 36-yard line. Talked about this last week. The Futuros came back to FCA. They went to FCA, and then the family moved away, and they chose to come back, and the FC team's happy that they did.
Absolutely.
There's an incomplete pass. Good
another
pass
flag
rush,
down on the
but
play.
we got a flag on who?
We got a flag on the
Looks
play.
like the official in the middle who threw the flag.
Patrick Markham was incomplete.
Zach Sullivan on the blitz had great pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah, and actually that was Josh Coleman, number 70, who hit him as he was throwing the ball, another sophomore. Looks like an illegal man downfield for the Vikings.
And they should, the Knights should refuse this penalty.
Went on the line of scrimmage on the offense. Penalties
That will
declined.
get the ball in their hands again via the punt return.
That's an illegal man downfield on the Vikings. The penalty is declined. It's going to be a 4th down and about 15.
And again, punting for the Vikings, a real potential for a big play for the Knights.
Cody Wallum standing at his 23-yard line. End over end kick. And Sam Futuro calls for the fair catch and makes it at the 35. 1st and 10 for the Knights on their own 35. How's the, let's talk about some of the other teams. How about the golf team?
Golf team is off to a good start. They've had a good 3-year run, won the league 3 years in a row, finished 4th in the state last year. They are currently 24 and 10. They actually won an invitational this past week, finished in 1st place in the smaller school division, and Jeff Workman, a senior golfer for the Knights, was the medalist. So they're off to another strong start.
1st and 10 for the Knights. Johnson throws over the middle to nobody in particular.
Yeah, another really poorly thrown pass by Luke.
It's going to be 2nd down.
He really has only put one pass, thrown one pass accurately tonight. If he would have waited about another second, Colin Young would have cleared the defense, and it could have been another big play.
2nd and 10 for the Knights. Tony Welch comes in for Nick Spurgis. Nick was the intended receiver there. It looked like he cut off his route. Like you said, Robbie, he didn't want to continue on through the middle.
Yeah, he's...
Here's Sam Futuro over left end, and he'll get to about the 40-yard line.
Yeah, Nick doesn't seem to have comfort running in traffic.
Nick Hayes and number 34, Scott Jones.
Now, as soon as we say that,
it's going to be
the Knights put in Zach Sullivan
7
at running back for Sammy Futuro. Zach's a junior.
And he's the backup quarterback as well.
And defensive end. Again, here's Hayden Welch, split out. If they throw it accurately, it should be a touchdown.
And
once
Hayden
again,
was wide open.
It is not accurately thrown.
For number 5, Welch.
So 4th down.
That's going to be a 4th down.
Knights will punt it away, 7:51 to go in the first half.
For some reason, Luke just looks like he's rushing his throws tonight. I know they do have some big guys on that defensive line, but it looks like he's getting time, for the most part, to throw the ball.
Well, let's see, we got Zach Sullivan punting the ball away to Kellum and Wallen.
Jordan Brake enters the game for the Knights as the up back, blocking for Zach.
Low snap, good punt.
Nice punt.
Driving punt.
Nice punt. I think he might have touched the ball. Looks like
Nick
the Knights have
Spurgis
it.
recovers it.
Nick Spurgis hustled down, slid in. Looks like he wrestled it away. Good play by Nick Spurgis.
Good hustle by Nick. Absolutely. Took the ball away.
You know, as we have seen, Jack, the Vikings have struggled to field kickoffs and punts. I think they've only caught one ball cleanly tonight, and even that almost wiggled free in the first quarter.
They have yet to cross the 50.
Yeah, and the Knights have really kind of lived in or near Viking territory.
I won't use the line that I heard about the Browns back in the 60s when Gib Chanley was doing the play-by-play. They're doing an exhibition game in the Rubber Bowl in Akron. There's Johnson rolling right, throws. He's got,
oh my goodness,
Colin Young off through his hands.
Yeah, he had another wide-open receiver. Now, he did face pressure that time, Luke did. He did have a guy in his face.
Second down and 10.
And he did throw a catchable ball.
Well, Gib was talking about the Browns' ineptitude during a preseason game in the Rubber Bowl in Akron, and at halftime he said this is the first time the Browns have crossed the 50 as they go to the locker room. Needless to say, Art Modell was none too pleased.
Yes.
2nd and 10. Ball on the 24-yard line. Spurgis wide right. Welch to the left. Futuro through a gaping hole.
Absolutely. Look at Kenny Burcham. Kenny Burcham and Colin Young are blocking their man 15, 20 yards downfield. Great job firing off the ball by Kenny.
Brad Garrett, among others, on the tackle.
Looks like it's going to be 3rd and short for the Knights.
7:15 and counting.
You know, the Knights have such an advantage at wideout. Maybe not on this play. I'm sure they want to get the first down and keep the drive going, but if they just go back to that little hitch that they threw to Hayden earlier where the Knights had a penalty, they just have such an advantage out wide.
Welch brothers now in at wide receiver. Flip to Futuro. He has the first down to about the 11-yard line.
34 Futuro on the carry.
Sammy's done a great job, but I tell you what, he has had very good blocking with the exception of 1 or 2 plays. He's had big holes pretty consistently.
The first touchdown run by Sammy was around the left end. No, it was right side. The second touchdown was around the left side. I think the entire line's been blocking well.
They really have. They really have, except for that one play where he got hit right at the line.
6.5 to go, first half. Keeper by Johnson. Might gain a yard.
Mm-hmm.
Number 12, Luke Johnson on the quarterback keep.
21-0 Knights. Scored 14 in the first quarter. Added a touchdown here in the second.
The Knights can get a first down on about the 2-yard line.
Johnson.
Okay, there's the play we were talking about to Hayden.
Welch breaks a tackle, goes in for the touchdown.
Yeah, Hayden just has such a big advantage. And I know the other reason that Coach Doppelmayr wanted to throw that play is I'm sure he wants Luke Johnson to see himself complete a pass. Maybe get him going a little bit.
That's something we really haven't seen is Johnson to Welch yet this year. It's really been the running game, hasn't it?
It really has. And then, of course, last week the Knights were able to pick off 3 passes against Fisher Catholic. One of them returned for a touchdown by Joey Gall.
Hayden on to kick the extra point, and that's good.
And the
so with
point is good.
5:54 to go in the first half, the Knights lead by a score of 28-0. I'd like to remind you that second quarter action on LSN is brought to you by Fairfield Mini Storage, the place to store your personal or business goods in a clean, dry unit within a gated facility. They have outside storage for RVs and boats. They're Lancaster's source for Penske truck rentals. Fairfield Mini Storage, located at 2230 East Main Street in Lancaster. You can find them on the web at ffministorage.com. Our other sponsors we want to thank are Fairfield Christian Church, Weaver Law Offices, Service Master Clean and Todd George, Fairfield Mini Storage, Frank E. Smith Funeral Home, Ohio University, Lancaster and Pickerton branches, N Focus Consulting, Thompson Concrete, and a little place dear to my heart, Redeemer Lutheran Church.
Yes.
Thank goodness this is a Friday night, not a Saturday. Last week I rushed home and worked on my sermon. Here's Welch with the kickoff, driving kickoff.
It is handled cleanly this time, although backing up. Josh Coleman makes the initial hit. Tony Welch
and
Tyler Stevens.
Team Cody Brown on the
and it looks like Zach Sullivan also in on the tackle.
Cody Brown on the return. Good return gives the Vikings some good field position. This is probably the best field position they've had.
Starting outside their own 30-yard line.
5:45 to go, first half. And stay tuned at halftime as we have a special tribute to the first responders of 9/11.
Now the Vikings run a wing tee. They don't throw the ball downfield very often. They've only done it one time so far tonight. Well, with the score what it is, they may have to take some shots.
And there
oh my goodness, wide open.
Number 34, Scott Jones.
And Brian Miller comes out of nowhere to make the tackle for the Knights. The Knights do boast some pretty good linebackers, led by Joey Gall, Ben Tobin, and Brian Miller.
Of about 7 yards.
A junior and 2 sophomores.
It's like Caden Welch is limping a little bit.
He's second down and 3.
Looks like Dustin Weaver is in there on defense at linebacker as well on this series.
Jones gets the ball again. And he has enough for a first down. They'll mark it at the 45.
Scott Jones on the carry. That'll be a first down for the Vikings.
And Jack, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that's the second first down of the night for the Vikings. My memory is that they got one in the first quarter, and now I think one here in the second quarter.
Das ist richtig, as they say in German. That is right, Mr. Bowler. Jones again. Spurgis chasing, and Spurgis has the tackle at the 35.
You know, they've run that play 3 times.
We're going to have another first down for the Vikings.
2 of the 3 they've gained big yardage, and it looks like the Knights are going to put 4 new defenders in. Go back to some first-team guys on defense after those plays.
Really, they have pretty much a whole new linebacking unit in now. It's the first-teamers. Quick hitter to Markham. Tobin and Miller on the tackle.
45, Patrick Markham on the carry. Gain of about 1 yard, maybe 2.
The Vikings are driving for the first time tonight. Next week we come to you from Franklin Furnace as the Knights take on Green High School. Markham again. Hog wrestled down there by Caleb Waltz.
Markham on the carry.
Yeah, it looks like Joey Gall and Sam Fertura are in on the tackle as well. It looks like right now the Vikings have come out on this drive and they've run the exact same play 4 times. They've run it to the right and they've run it to the left, but it's in the same play with the same ball carrier every time.
3:55 and counting. First half action. 3rd and 6.
Fumble. Looks like Luke Johnson dives on it.
And we got a
penalty flag on the play. That official really likes to throw his flag.
Flag on the play.
Now,
got a good arm, doesn't he?
I'm afraid. Oh, here. No, he's going to wave it off. I believe what he was going to call was helmet-to-helmet contact as Luke dove in, but Luke was just diving for the ball, and it looks like the umpire, the head official, waved him off.
So that's a good call.
Yeah, Luke was, if it was on Luke, I'm not sure that's what he was, but that's where he threw the flag, and that's what he was looking at when he threw it. But all Luke did was dive towards the ball to recover the ball, and he did a great job.
3:41 to go here in the first half. Knights have the ball on their, call it the 35-yard line, 1st and 10.
Now, Jack, I'm going to keep saying every time Hayden lines up outside, it could be a touchdown.
Johnson back to pass. He's got
Go the other way. And again, the ball a little bit overthrown. I'm not sure. Maybe Nick ran out a little bit wide. Maybe it was his pattern a little bit, but
Nicholas Spurgis.
You know, the Knights are going to have to connect on some of those passes. As we look towards the end of their schedule,
it's going to be second.
They've got Grove City Christian sitting in week 10 who has blown out 2 opponents. a team that 2 years ago went to the Final Four in the state. They've got Shadyside Week 8, a team that went to the state finals last year, Youngstown Christian Week 9. So they've got some teams where they're going to have to connect on those passes.
Welch brothers in at wide receiver. Hayden is at the top of your screen. Johnson to Welch. Makes a move. And nice shoestring tackle there.
Yeah, every time they throw the ball to Hayden, it could be a touchdown.
5, Welch.
I think that was
tackled by number 2, Jacob Newton.
Jacob Newton.
It's going to be third
the tackle.
down.
You're right. They could go for a score each and every time.
Yeah, whether it's short or long, Hayden's probably going to make the first couple of guys miss, and then is he fast enough before the pursuit gets there? And if that's not the case, he can run by him.
2 wide receivers at the bottom of your screen. Johnson looking. He's got Welch. Caught.
Wow.
Great catch by Hayden Welch for a first down.
Now here we are talking about Luke Johnson, and that was a perfectly thrown ball. Hayden was really well covered. Really, probably the Vikings were in the best position all night defensively with 2 guys, but it was a perfect ball and a great catch by Hayden.
Hayden was double covered on that, and Luke put it where only Hayden could get to it.
Absolutely, and he did. Nice play by those guys. And as you said, they made a lot of those plays last year.
2:44 to go. Knights with a first down at the 32. Johnson.
Hayden is wide open again.
Just out of his reach.
You know, on that last play, I'm going to give credit again to Sammy Furturo. He's run the ball well. He's played well tonight, but he threw a really good block to give Luke Johnson time enough to complete that last pass to Hayden on that left side. And he was actually blocking a guy who probably outweighs him by close to 100 pounds.
2nd and 10 for the Knights. Furturo, the deep back. Tony Welch at the top of your screen. Draw play to Sam Furturo.
That delay to Sammy has been wide open all night.
And that's another Knights first down.
Furturo on the carry. It's first down for the Knights.
Looks like Sammy got about 20 yards on that play.
2:22 to go, first half. Hayden comes out and Zach Sullivan comes in.
And it looks like Sammy's limping a little bit as he goes off for the Knights as well. He and Hayden both are. And we've got Tony Welch coming in. Looks like Zach's probably going to go to running back, replace Sammy Furturo, and Tony's going to go out wide to replace his brother Hayden.
Looks like Hayden might just get an ankle tape there.
Yeah.
Zach Sullivan, the deep back. Two-step drop over the middle.
Beautiful.
Caught.
Beautiful.
First down for the Knights. Nick Spurgis, I believe, is the...
Yes.
85 Spurgis on the reception.
You know, you can see when Nick went out that wide, you felt like they were getting him out that wide to give him enough space to run back inside. And he did run inside. We've talked about him running those patterns inside. That time he caught it.
Penalty on the Knights.
Okay.
We got a flag on the play. False start on the offense.
Wow, that was probably their best thrown ball, best timed pass
6
play
men on the line of scrimmage.
But it comes back.
5 yards, still first down.
This will be 1st and 15 for the Knights. Ball on the 23-yard line.
And we've got Nick Spurgis way out wide right again. We could see the same play.
Johnson.
And we do see the same play.
To Spurgis. Nice game.
And
close to a first down.
On the reception.
Looks like it's close to a first down. So about a 13-yard gain. Again, well timed, well thrown. Nice catch by Nick.
In comes Sam Furturo for Zach Sullivan. Hayden's all taped up and he may be entering shortly. 1:20 to go and counting. Spurgis out wide right. To the left, Tony Welch. Furturo, the deep back. Give to Sam. Gaping hole. First down for the Knights.
Looks like they're inside the 5, about the 2.5, maybe 3-yard line.
It's going to be a first down. It'll be first and goal.
Hayden's coming in now, along with Zach Sullivan.
Looks like the 3-yard
Spurgis and Tony Welch sitting down, it looks like. So we're going to go 3 backs in the backfield. Faturo, the deep back. Up back, Zach Sullivan and Ben Tobin. Faturo bulls his way through, and that's a touchdown for the Knights.
Touchdown for the Knights. Number 34, Faturo on the carry.
I believe that's Sammy's 4th touchdown this evening.
You are correct once again.
4 touchdowns, and he also has a 2-point conversion. One of the things that Sam Faturo does so well for the Knights is when contact is made, he can spin to his right or left and typically gets 2 or 3 more yards, sometimes breaks away.
Hayden Welch on for the point after. Ball down, kick is up, and he drives it through the upright.
Actually pulled it left, I think.
Wide.
Yeah, it looked like he pulled it left. Hit the ball well, but pulled it left.
So with 41.3 seconds to go in the first half, Knights lead by a score of 34-0. Second quarter action of FCA and LSN brought to you in part by Fairfield Mini Storage, the place to store your personal or business goods in a clean, dry unit within a gated facility. They have outside storage for RVs and boats. They're Lancaster's source for Penske truck rentals. Fairfield Mini Storage, located at 2230 East Main Street in Lancaster. You can find them on the web at ffministorage.com. Stay tuned for the First Responder Special, brought to you by the FCA media team. Frankie Smith Funeral Home brought to you, will bring you the halftime festivities. Frankie Smith Funeral Home in Lancaster and Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore, Ohio have a long and excellent history of serving our community in times of loss. Frankie Smith Funeral Home, respect for tradition, regard for change. They're available online at funeralhome.com.
Now it looked like, Jack, there that the Knights, I'm not sure that they were really trying an onside kick, but just maybe working on some things for future opponents.
The Vikings ball on the 37-yard line.
We'll try to go to Dane Alexander right at the end of the first half to get Coach Daubenmeyer's insights to the first half. First and 10 for the Vikings.
Looks like the Knights have a few substitutes there in on the defensive line. One of them being Austin Mosley, who stuffed the play, didn't make the tackle, but allowed the tackle to be
45.
made.
Markham was the ball carrier.
Markham on the carry.
Might have gained a yard.
A gain of a couple yards.
And we got knocked down by Colin Young.
Yeah, good job by Colin. He's done that several times this year.
Incomplete.
At the defensive end spot, gotten his hand on a ball.
Now we have 17 seconds to go. Colin Young's a good athlete. Plays baseball, basketball, and football for FCA. A lot of these kids that you see are a couple sport athletes, aren't they?
Yeah, and being the size school that we are, we really need all the kids who are able to play and enjoy playing to do that. And Colin's another one of those sophomores that we were talking about.
3rd and 8. Blitz. Young chasing him down. Overthrown.
Yeah, Colin, there he is. He busted free, put some pressure on the quarterback. I'm not sure that New Miami really wants to punt the ball.
For number 9
but they did on the last 2 plays. They stopped the clock, so now they're going to have to punt with 11 seconds to go.
I wonder if we might see a little razzle-dazzle
here.
here.
A little reverse or something like that. But the Knights do have the speed advantage. And again, any of these wide-open plays, punt returns, kick returns, are potential touchdowns for the Knights. Sam Faturo back to receive.
Cody Wallen is the punter. Spurgis and Welch are covering the wideouts. Short punt. It'll hit at the 41, go to the 43, and with 1.1 second to go in the half, the Knights will take over the football.
Yeah, now you wonder, it's still the first half. And again, the Knights have to get ready for future opponents. They can't worry about stopping themselves. That's New Miami's job. We'll see what they do here on the last play of the half.
Now the Knights will be kicking off to start the second half. Looks like we have the victory formation, so to speak, and that they're just going to take a knee. And they do.
And they do.
And that's the end of the first half of play here at New Miami High School with the score FCA 34, New Miami nothing.
That's the end of the first half.
And so with that, it looks like Coach Daubenmeier is sending the troops off to the far side of the field. And we will see if we have a coach to interview. Does not look like it. Or yes, we do. It looks like Coach Daubenmeier is going to show his athleticism by sprinting over to join our field sideline reporter, Dane Alexander. I'd like to remind you that the halftime show is brought to you in part by Frank E. Smith Funeral Home in Lancaster, Ohio, and Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore, Ohio. They have a long and excellent history of serving our community in time of loss. Frank E. Smith Funeral Home, respect for tradition, regard for change. Available online at funeralhome.com. Here's Dane Alexander with Coach Daubenmeier.
Hi, Dane Alexander here with Coach Dave Daubenmeier. Coach, tell me your thoughts about the first half.
Well, we're sloppy, Dane. We're sloppy. I think, you hate to complain when the score's 34-0, but we're really, really sloppy. Passing game's not going very well. We got a lot of penalties. We blame it on a lot of things. The long drive down here certainly takes it out of us, but we got to be more disciplined.
All right. Anything else you'd like to say? I mean,
we're just going to try to come out the second half, try to get some guys go come out with our number ones and try to establish a few things. We've run the ball pretty well. Our line's done a pretty good job, and then try to get some younger guys in and let everybody get better tonight.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Stay tuned now for our halftime programming on first responders at 9/11. This is FCA football on LSN.
FCA on LSN. FCA on LSN. Brought to you in part by
Fairfield Mini Storage is located on East Main Street in Lancaster, or find them online at ffministorage.com.
InFocus Consulting, the data agency. Online at infocusconsulting.com.
Redeemer Lutheran Church and Dr. Jack Davidson. You can visit them online at redeemerlancaster.org.
The Frank E. Smith Funeral Home. Respect for tradition, regard for change. Available online at funeralhome.com.
Thanks for watching FCA on LSN.
Thanks for watching FCA on LSN.
I'm Sheriff Dave Phelan. September 11th, 2001 will go down as one of the bloodiest days in American history. And I think each generation has an event, maybe a tragedy, where people remember exactly where they were during that particular event. For my parents' generation, it would have been Pearl Harbor. For my generation, it was the assassination of John F. Kennedy. And today's generation, it would be 9/11.
For Evan Fairbanks, this is the image that will haunt him and us for the rest of our lives.
The image of that plane just coming out of nowhere, coming into the frame and disappearing into the side, into the south side of the tower, as if a floor had been hollowed out and it was a hangar that it was just landing in.
I work for the Department of Defense as a federal firefighter. And the morning of September 11, I was in charge of 3 firefighters who were assigned to the Pentagon Heliport Fire Station. And now this fire station is located on the west side of the Pentagon. And this is the side of the Pentagon that the airplane will crash into. I see the airplane that'll hit the Pentagon. The airplane is about 200 yards from our position. It's approaching the building, the Pentagon, at about a 45-degree angle, and it's right on top of the cars. And the cars being on Washington Boulevard, just west of the Pentagon. The airplane that will crash into the Pentagon is American Airlines flight number 77. It had 58 passengers on board and 6 crew members and 5 hijackers. The airplane will pretty much go through the first floor windows of the building. It's, and I remember there was, during the time that we were working on the fire ground, to me there was nothing obvious that indicated that there had been an airplane crash there. The entire field would be littered with debris. Upon seeing the airplane, I'm sure that each of us yelled. Skipper and I run to our right, and then almost immediately the airplane has hit the building. I like to say from the time we saw the airplane until it hit the building was probably a half a second. It was just it happened very quick. People started coming out of the building, and these people are burned and terrified. This was a very difficult area to work. Smoke and fires coming out of the window above them. We estimated a dozen or so people were able to come to get out of the building through that room, through those windows there. Eventually I get out of the building, and I knew I could get out of the building. I don't think I was in there any further than 30 feet, but I couldn't see anything.
Here we are 10 years later, and I'm sure families that had loved ones that were killed during that tragic event still miss them. We are at war, families are separated, and our military is in harm's way. And we're certainly in times of economic uncertainty. And I think we all miss the convenience and freedoms of travel that we had many, many years ago. Today we thank our first responders, our firefighters, our sheriff deputies, our police officers, our medics for a job well done. In the book of Isaiah, the prophet wrote this in chapter 41, verse 10. It says, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." Again, thank you, first responders. God bless you, and God bless America.
He's losing his balance. I'm like, "Unc, you want me to take you to a doctor?" He's like, "No, I'm going to look up the symptoms." I said, "Your symptoms are you're dizzy and you're losing your balance." So he said, "I can't get on the internet because my arm is numb." I said, "Well, use your good arm and dial 911. Stroke's no joke. If you or someone you love is showing symptoms of stroke, don't wait because it might be too late. Dial 911. Time lost is brain lost.
And a 2-point conversion.
Back here at New Miami High School in New Miami, Ohio, just north of Hamilton. This is Jack Davidson along with Athletic Director Rob Bowler as FCA has a commanding 34-0 lead after one half of play. Third quarter of action of FCA and LSN brought to you in part by Ohio University, Lancaster and Pickerington, where class sizes are small so you get to know the faculty who cares about you and your success. Discover your promise in academics, athletics, or in theater at Ohio University, Lancaster and Pickerington. Online at lancaster.ou.edu. And FCA and LSN also brought to you in part by N-Focus Consulting, the data agency positioning and managing data in the marketplace. N-Focus Consulting provides data management from Lancaster, Ohio, and can be reached at 654-5809 or online at nfocusconsulting.com. With Rob Bowler, Jack Davidson. Here as we begin the third quarter of action, Hayden Welch will kick off for FCA. Rob, what's your impressions, insights on this first half of play that we've seen?
Well, you know, I'm surprised, Jack. As we've talked, I talked a little bit about in the first half, the new Miami offensive line averages 281 pounds. They have 2 kids over 330 pounds. I really thought that Fairfield Christian Academy would struggle defending the run right at them. I didn't expect us to shut them down as we have, and I didn't expect us to be able to move the ball on the ground as well as we have.
Hayden Welch to kick off. Halftime stats, courtesy of Michael Byers, FCA statistician. Passing FCA was 4 for 13, 57 yards, 1 interception, 1 TV. A guy by the name of San Faturo only has 123 yards and 15 carries and 4 touchdowns. Nice evening of work.
Yeah, we'll throw in a 2-point conversion for him as well.
Number 3, Chris Kellum on the return.
Kellum returns the ball to the, we'll say, the 33-yard line. 1st and 10 for New Miami.
Going to be 1st and 10.
Stars are out for both teams.
Line.
And I am told that our field mic is working excellently, so the people at home are able to hear the calls from the referee even though we're not able to, so we'll try to keep quiet here in the second half and maybe you can hear the inner workings of the officials.
There's that quick hitter.
Markham brought down by Faturo, close to a first down.
Patrick Markham on the carry.
And that particular play is one of the few plays that New Miami has had success with. They ran that towards the tail end of the first half.
9, so it's going to be a second down with 1 yard to go.
A pretty decent gainer for them every time except for one there in the second quarter. So they open up and gain 8 yards, running that same play to start the second half.
Memory serves, they ran it right side in that second quarter. This time they ran it to the left. It'll be 2nd and about 2. FCA
and that time,
blitz.
Brian Miller blitzes right into that play. May have caused a fumble.
Zach Sullivan saying that FCA has it.
Number 15, Cody Brown.
And they do. They do. Yeah, Brian Miller, you could see he specifically was running right into that gap where they've consistently run the ball. He ran in, got a hand in there, hit the ball carrier, and knocked it free.
So FCA once again has outstanding field position to start the half.
Yeah, here they are in Viking territory yet again. And again, Hayden Welch split out to the left. I am convinced they're going to have to hit a long one to him.
Johnson
there they go.
Overthrows Hayden.
Hayden open, runs by his guy, and just inaccurately thrown.
Pass intended for
if Luke could just get the ball up a little higher, lay it up, and let Hayden run underneath it, and just lead him to the middle of the field, he could just run underneath a little rainbow, and there'd be 6 points.
You're right. That's open. That's been open all night. And seeing as they only play 3 defensive backs, if they're going to double cover someone else is going to be open.
And if Hayden takes 2 steps like he's going to go long, and he just stands and catches that quick pass as they've thrown a couple times, that'll be a big gainer as well.
2nd 10, 43-yard line.
Ben Tobin up the middle, looks like about 5 yards.
Tobin on the carry.
So it'll be 3rd and 5 for the Knights.
Gain of about 5 yards, be 3rd down and 5.
Next week, we travel to Franklin Furnace, Ohio. Now, as athletic director, how do you find these schools? I jest. We'll talk about that in a minute, all right? Because I imagine it's scheduling is quite a problem, not being a conference.
There's the quick pass we talked about. And they are able to make the tackle. Looks like a no gain. And it looks again, if Hayden would take 2 or 3 steps, back the guy off, and then step back and receive that pass, he'd have a little running room.
Looks like FCA will go for it as Luke Johnson heads to the huddle after getting the play call from Coach Daubenmeier. So we'll say 4th and 5 with 10:09 to go, 3rd quarter.
Now here we've got Nick split out way wide. We might see that slant again that worked in the second quarter. There it is.
Intercepted? No.
Yeah, it looked like Nick slowed down a little bit as he cut towards the middle, and that's been something that Nick has got to get better at. He's got to run through the pattern.
That's a turnover on down.
Stephen Rogers almost came up with the interception. So 1st down for the Vikings. So how difficult is it to schedule a football schedule not being in a conference?
You know, it's not easy. Most schools have 7 games set for them with the conference that they're in, and then maybe they schedule those other 3 or 2. So yeah, it's been a challenge. This is only our 3rd year of Ohio high school football. So, you know, that makes it a little bit of a challenge as well.
1st and 10 for the Vikings. 39-yard line.
And Luke Johnson really did a good job of turning it in. He didn't make the tackle.
And there's Brian Miller again.
He was in position to. It looked like as the ball carrier came to him, he dropped his head, lost his vision, and but he did create enough pursuit by slowing him down.
Check that, make that Joey Gall. I'm still not used to Joey's new number. He was 40 last year. He's 51 this year.
Bobby Furturo comes in for Luke Johnson.
Now, when you're scheduling, one of the things that you hear in the community is FCA's schedule, because the teams aren't, at least last year, the opponents did not have a winning record, but you can't tell that when you schedule, can you?
Well, it goes back really to 3 years ago. Like I said, our first year that we had an Ohio high school team. The previous year to that, we had played primarily a JV schedule.
Second down. Bad snap.
Looks like another loss will bring up 3rd and long for the Vikings. But we had played primarily a JV schedule. We only played 3 varsity teams. We won 2 games.
That's going to be
with that in mind, with a young group, with us going into our first year of Ohio high school football, we did schedule teams that we thought we could compete with. It turned out pretty well for us. We were 9-0. We had one team that canceled on us that we were not able to make up. We did make the playoffs, so it looked like it was a positive thing for us to schedule in that vein.
3rd and long. Kellum back to pass.
Bobby Furturo.
Hit as he throws, almost intercepted, thrown behind the intended receiver. 4th down, and they'll punt it away.
And again, you see Bobby rush in. He doesn't hesitate like some of the other Knights do occasionally. He just goes after the ball. Gets a hit on the quarterback, causes an incomplete pass.
Now, Coach Dobmeyer has a philosophy. He'll play anyone, anywhere. He got Shady Side this year, don't you?
Yeah, and we did upgrade our schedule this year. We did drop a couple of teams. Shady Side went to the state finals last year. We play them in week 8. Youngstown Christian, we play in week 9, is another team that's traditionally a playoff team.
Cody Wallen now to receive the snap, gets it away, end over end kick. Bounces on the 40 and takes an FCA bounce. It'll be 1st and 10 on their 43. So what about next year? I know this year we still got to get through 6 or 7 more games.
Right.
But what about next year? How long do you schedule out?
Well, you know what? Before I get there, let me just finish up. We did also play Portsmouth Notre Dame, another traditional playoff team. Fisher Catholic, who we played last year and this year, is a team that 3 years ago was in the playoffs, and prior to that was in the playoffs quite often, quite regularly. And then we do play Grove City in week 10, who, as I said earlier, 2 years ago was in the state Final Four.
And that's quite a rivalry, isn't it?
Yes.
There's the end around to Jacob Walker.
Now he's going to throw a flag on that, probably called holding on the Knights. Joey Gall did block, but he actually had his hands up above his shoulders.
Flag on the play.
So I'm not sure he really did, but it may have looked like he did.
And we have Nick Malott down on the field for the Vikings. So when do you start scheduling for next year, 2 years down the road? When do you start looking at that as a planning, as an athletic director? Because this stuff doesn't happen overnight.
Right. We as far as the football goes, it was a 3-year process just to get to our first varsity schedule. But in general, to answer your question, we have our basketball schedules done. We've had those done for about 4 months. We've pretty much got done our softball and baseball schedules for this spring.
And you've upgraded both of those, at least for baseball and basketball, haven't you? I mean, you played tough schedule in basketball last year with Rosecrans.
Yeah, very challenging schedule. Rosecrans, at the time we played them last year, was the #1 team in the state in Division 4. This coming year, we've got Rosecrans again. They've got just about everybody back. We've got Coshocton, a Division 2 school, typically a pretty tough school. We've got a tough opponent in the Wellston Classic. We've got, we are hosting our own tournament, inviting Fisher Catholic this year on the boys' side, Crooksville. So we're playing up quite a bit. We're also in a tournament in Wellington. Wellington has been a very good Division 4 school who we did happen to beat in the state playoffs last year. But they are a team that, typically is 2nd, 3rd, 4th round in the state playoffs.
They point for the tournament. I know last year when we covered them, they just point for the to peak at that time of year.
And last year in our league, in the MoCal, the Mid-Ohio Christian Athletic League, we had 4 teams advance to the Final 8 in the district. 4 of those teams in that Final 8 were MoCal teams. Grove City Christian was up 7 in overtime in their game. If they would have won, and that was with 2 minutes to go, they ended up losing that game late. But if they win that game, then MoCal has 5 of the 8 teams, you know, that are left in the district. So, you know, Tree of Life has been a team in our league that has, you know, made it to the state regionals.
They're a traditional powerhouse,
2 years ago. So, yeah, it's a very, very challenging schedule.
1st and 10 for the Knights, 8:09 to go here in the third quarter of play. With the penalty, it's 1st and 25. Johnson throwing long to Spurgis. It is knocked away, almost intercepted.
Well, here again, Knights football, go big or go home, right, Jack?
That's right.
If you don't throw it over 30, 40 yards, it's not worth throwing. Yeah, they do occasionally throw hitches, we know that. They have thrown some slants tonight, we know that. But they really do like to throw the ball deep, and they do have an advantage out wide. Unfortunately for them, tonight they haven't been able to take advantage, but they really haven't needed to.
Nick Hayes broke that pass up for the Vikings, so it'll be 2nd and 25 for the Knights. Flip to Sam Faturo. He's got running room.
There's
penalty
a flag
flag
on the play again.
And
34.
We'll see if they call this back or not.
Faturo on the carry. Got a flag.
Holding on the Knights. Now, you've been trying to get into the Mid-State League. Why don't you talk about that process?
Sure. Yeah, 3 years ago, I called the commissioner of the Mid-State League and expressed Fairfield Christian Academy's interest in joining that league. And about a year and a half ago, the Mid-State League did begin to say that, hey, we're interested. We may realign, we may expand, we may do different things. And because they've had some movement within their league in the last 6 months, they actually are considering us along with another school in our league. And they're going to vote on that in December. And if that goes through, we will be a part of an 8-team smaller school division, which will include some local schools in Fairfield County, which will be real nice for us.
And that'll be some nice rivalries, won't it?
Absolutely.
2nd and a boatload.
Okay, just what we talked about. They fake and go. Hayden runs right by him. Nicely thrown pass.
And he's gone.
Nice cut. We'll see if they can catch him, and it doesn't look like they can.
No flags. Touchdown, Knights.
Number 5, Welch on the reception. Touchdown for the Knights.
Well, there we go, Jack. We said that if Hayden would hesitate, either run and back him off and throw it out at the line of scrimmage, or fake and go. Either one, he'd run by him, and they finally connect on what they really had an opportunity to connect on several times this evening. Nice throw by Luke Johnson. Nice catch and run and cut by Hayden Welch.
I estimate that as a 79-yard touchdown pass. Unofficial, 7:17 to go, third quarter. Knights take a 40-0 lead with the point after to follow. Ball down, kick is up, and it's good.
And the point after is good.
So, with 7:17 to go, third quarter, the score, Knights 41 and the Vikings of New Miami nothing. Third quarter action of FCA and LSN brought to you in part by Ohio University, Lancaster and Pickerington, where class sizes are small so you get to know the faculty who cares about you and your success. Discover your promise in academics, athletics, or theater at Ohio University, Lancaster and Pickerington, online at lancaster.ou.edu. And FCA and LSN brought to you in part by Enfocus Consulting, the data agency positioning and managing data in the marketplace. Enfocus Consulting provides data management from Lancaster, Ohio, and can be reached at 654-5809 or online at enfocusconsulting.com. Welch to kick off. Fielded by the up back for
number 3, Chris Kellum on the return.
the Vikings. Chris Kellum, the quarterback, fields it, and he'll get the play from his head coach, Jeff Jewett.
And that was a nice tackle on that play by Zach Sullivan, a junior for the Knights.
So you'll hear from the Mid-State League in December.
Yes, they're voted in December. So, you know, hopefully right after Christmas there, so maybe sometime in early January, we'll know how that vote went. Right now, we're pretty optimistic. As I talked to the commissioner of the Mid-State League, Jim Hayes from Tays Valley High School, he is leading us to believe that that has a good opportunity to be voted in an affirmative way on.
It's like Cody Wallen, the ball carrier, short gain.
Number 9,
now,
Clay Williams on the
if
carry.
you were to get in the Mid-State League, how long of a timetable would it be for FCA to start in competition?
The fall of 2013.
2013. So you'd have one more year, and would there be any transition, so to speak? Would the schedule for next year allow you to play more Mid-State League teams, or not necessarily?
You know, it might. We have a couple of openings for 2012. You know, I'd certainly consult with. There goes another flag from way behind the play.
Cody Brown on the carry.
On the carry, that's a first down.
Looks like we have holding against the Vikings. But to answer your question, Jack, you know, I would consult the coaches, look at some of those rivals, look at some of those teams that might be in our division, and maybe do some slight modification on the scheduling.
Let's see if we can go down to the field and hear the call when they're ready to make the call. It is on the Vikings.
Right there. So we'll go 10 yards from here, and we'll see if that's still a first. It's going to be short, yeah. Block in the back, during the run, on the offense, 10 yards from the flag. Still be second down.
Jack, as I look on the field there, I see number 27 for the Knights. Looks like he's split out at the corner position.
Still second down.
Another sophomore, Jacob Walker. He's got a lot of speed. I also see Dustin Weaver in there at linebacker, a junior.
Second and short for the Vikings. Kellum is sacked. That's Colin Young once again.
Yep, Bobby Ferturo runs in, kind of forces him back into Colin, who makes the tackle for a loss.
Saw Austin Mosley down by the 50. I don't know. I didn't know if he was thinking he was going to cover a wide receiver or what. What?
Well, someone may have helped him get down there wearing a green jersey, maybe one of their offensive linemen.
It's not often you see a defensive lineman about 20 yards behind the play. Intended receiver was
an incomplete pass.
Williams.
It'll be 4th down and 5.
And it'll be 4th and 5 now for the Vikings. So you're optimistic about the Mid-State League?
Yeah, we're optimistic that's going to happen. We certainly aren't assuming that's what's going to happen, but we'll find out here in a couple of months.
We got Welch and Sam Faturo back for the Knights. Welch stands at about the 47 of FCA as New Miami sends another player in. Vaturo's on about the 37, kicks away, wobbly kick. Vaturo fields it, about the 39, breaks a tackle, but then he's smothered, driven backwards. They'll mark at the 39, 1st and 10 for the Knights, 5:27 to go here in the third quarter. How's the other fall sports doing? How about cross country? I haven't talked about that.
Yeah, we're in our 2nd year to have a cross country team. We actually now, this year, have enough boys and girls on the high school side to have teams. They define teams in cross country by having at least 5 participants per gender. So, and we also have junior high cross country as well. We've got some runners who have done really well, especially this year. And we've actually had a couple of boys and 2 or 3 girls medal in 2 separate meets so far this year.
1st and 10 for the Knights. Ball's on the 38.
Oh, Looks like
miscommunication there.
Yeah.
A broken play, and Johnson keeps it for a loss.
12, Luke Johnson on the carry.
It was either Luke or Ben Tobin. One of them went the wrong way or turned the wrong way.
Tackled by number 62.
And how's the girls volleyball team doing?
Patrick Markham.
Girls volleyball has a MoCal record this year of 1-2. They have lost 3 consecutive matches in the final game in overtime. There's that Sammy spin, and
he's got a first down.
You see they're trying to drag that ball because he does have a tendency to carry the ball a little bit low.
First down for the Knights. Good effort by Futuro, and good effort by the offensive line. Gave them some room. They kept blocking up until the whistle was blown. First and 10 for the Knights. Futuro will take a breather. We've got Zach Sullivan, the deep back now. Ben Tobin is the up back. Quick hitter to Colin Young. That's another Knights first down.
Yeah, another nicely thrown ball. He was not wide open. He put the ball right in there. Luke Johnson did. So he's come out in the second half and thrown the ball pretty well. Nice catch also by Colin in traffic.
Knights on the move with 4:15 to go, third quarter. Spurgis at the top of the screen, Welch at the bottom of your screen. There goes Ben Tobin. First down, Knights. They'll mark him at the probably about the 13-yard line.
Down for the Knights.
Another gaping hole by the offensive line. One of the questions we had going into the season was how would they respond? Losing Cody Eckert and John King. Who else did we have on the line last year?
Aaron Patinsky, who was a great offensive and defensive lineman.
A lot of new kids playing the offensive line this year, and thus far through the third game, they're doing well.
Yeah, and Jordan Edwards, another senior we lost from the offensive line. So actually 4 of our starting offensive linemen were seniors last year. Kenny Burcham, the only returning offensive lineman. Kenny played center last year. He's actually playing right tackle.
Yeah.
So we have no one who played the same position they did last year.
And if this line continues to develop, they'll have everyone but Kenny coming back next year.
Right.
Ben Tobin. Short gain.
Yeah, and actually, Jack, the Knights are only playing 3 seniors tonight. So future looks bright.
On the carry.
And we talk about this in our telecast. Fairfield Christian does not recruit. These kids that are playing, they've been developed throughout the system, haven't they?
Yeah, there's not a player on the field except for the Futuro boys who did move back from Illinois. But as you said earlier, they went to FCA up until 6th grade, moved back this year.
That looks like a broken play.
Yeah, they're the only newcomers that we have. Everybody else on the field has been attending our school since 9th grade or before.
And that's the key for FCA. They're able to keep the kids. It's a commitment. As a parent, I will say, it's a commitment on the part of the parents to sacrifice to send your kids to a private school when you can send them public education for free. But it's because the parents and the kids really believe in the mission and ministry of FCA. And these kids they're great kids.
They are.
There's a little misdirection to Tony Welch.
Waterbug
loses the ball there. Let's see if New Miami recovered it. Let's see. Tony is a water bug, though, isn't he? He's just so quick. He's all over the place.
Yeah. He did drop the ball, was holding it in his left hand a little bit low. Again, by his belly as opposed to up in the armpit on the chest area.
We talk a little bit about the development of FCA football. Who do you have coaching at the lower levels? Because people don't see the 4th and 5th grade coaches, and that. Who are the men that are helping develop the kids for? They get to be freshmen, and Coach Dobmeyer can take over.
I have to give a lot of credit to Craig Carpenter, our principal. He started our program 6 years ago actually, with the Knights playing on the junior high level, had a lot of success. So most of the kids out on this field are kids that he coached and started the program with. Ted Welch is another one who's been coaching our 5th and 6th graders for a long time, also does a lot of help, or provides a lot of help to our 3rd and 4th grade teams. So those two guys in particular have been huge in developing our program.
There you see the traveling, we want to say traveling fools from FCA. They're not fools, but I mean they travel a long way. We have a great bunch of fans that travel to see this team play.
Yeah, it was interesting. Now we see a little chippiness on the field there, the last 2 plays. Once the whistle's blown, the play's over. But yeah, you know, last week we played Fisher Catholic there in Lancaster. Obviously, we're a Lancaster school. Fisher Catholic is. That field is Fisher Catholic's home field. And so, you know, we were the home team, as Fisher Catholic and Fairfield Christian Academy have worked out every other year. But it was nice to see a lot of fans from
crowd,
Fairfield Christian Academy.
The crowd rivaled attendance-wise what you might see at a Lancaster game. It was that well attended.
Yeah, we had Fairfield Christian Academy had around 600 fans on their side of the field, so that's neat. And there we see Colin Young throw New Miami for a loss, bringing up 4th down. Looks like the Vikings are going to punt.
And we got 45 seconds to go here in the quarter. Once again, Futuro and Welch back deep. Nice kick. It'll hit on the 49, and I believe it touched Hayden Welch.
Yeah. For some reason, he ran right over top of the ball. The ball hits him in the left leg and is recovered. And, you know, that's probably the best offensive play that the Vikings have had this evening.
I think this is, well, they've crossed the 50 one other time, and that was late in the second half. This is probably the best starting field position they've had all night. You're right. 18.8 seconds to go.
And again, the Knights are continuing to put new guys in defensively. Mix up in the backfield.
And there's Bobby Futuro to come in and make the play. Dustin Weaver there on the tackle, and looks like Brian Miller too.
About a yard.
And that should do it. So after 3 quarters of play, FCA leads by a score of 41-0. This is FCA football on LSN.
FCA on LSN. FCA on LSN. Brought to you in part by...
Discover your promise in academics, in athletics, or in theater at Ohio University Lancaster and Pickerington. Online at lancaster.ohiou.edu.
Thompson Concrete, full-service concrete company. Online at thompsonconcrete.com.
Roger Weaver and the Weaver Law offices online at weaver-law.com.
Fairfield Christian Church, located near the River Valley Mall in Lancaster, online at fairfieldcc.com.
Thanks for watching FCA on LSN.
Thanks for watching FCA on LSN.
Back here, start of the 4th quarter, FCA leads 41-0. It's FCA football on LSN. 4th quarter action of FCA on LSN, brought to you in part by Fairfield Mini Storage, the place to store your personal or business goods in a clean, dry unit within a gated facility. They have outside storage for RVs and boats. They're Lancaster source for Penske truck rentals. Located at 2230 East Main Street in Lancaster. You can find them on the web at ffministorage.com. FCA and LSN also brought to you by N-Focus Consulting, the data agency positioning and managing data in the marketplace. N-Focus Consulting provides data management from Lancaster, Ohio, and can be reached at 654-5809 or online at nfocusconsulting.com. Swarm of tacklers for FCA. We'll bring up 3rd and probably 6 for the Vikings.
Looks like you might have a shaken up Viking there on the play.
That might be Patrick Markham, number 45. It's hard to see with his right in front of us, though. Let's talk a little bit about the progress of FCA athletics over the past few years. Where you started, where you've been to, and where you hope to go.
Yeah, we joined the Mid-Ohio Christian Athletic League about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and really have been able to compete at a much higher level in the last 3 or 4 years in particular. Our boys high school basketball team has finished second in the league or tied for second in the league the last 3 seasons. They were able to win 3 playoff games last year in the state playoffs.
Good tackle there by, I believe that was Ben Tobin, getting, it looked like Clay Williams by the ankles. So 4th and 6, bring up a punting situation for New Miami.
We mentioned, Jack, our golf team had a great year last year, 4th in the state, won the league for the 3rd year in a row. Our football team made the state playoffs last year in just their 2nd year of competition. In the spring, our baseball team and girls track team both won MoCal titles as well.
High snap, punted away, and you can note that there is no FCA player around that football. I'd say that's a part of good coaching by Coach Daubenmeyer and the crew after the last time it hit FCA player who shall remain nameless on the foot. So FCA takes the ball over now on their, we'll call it their 27-yard line.
You know, Jack, I just want to say, as we watch this game, really even there in the 3rd quarter, some fans might wonder, you know, why is FC throwing the ball? Why are the Knights throwing the ball? At that time, they were up 34 to nothing. Maybe because
they're 4 of 15 for passing in the first half.
Yeah,
they need to work on it.
Absolutely. And as we talked about in the first half, they have to be able to throw the ball. As they move through their schedule, as they hope to be in the postseason, that's something they have to do. And Luke Johnson needs to see those passes completed. Hayden Welch and the wide receivers need to catch those passes and make plays. They need confidence.
Now we got second stringers in. Zach Sullivan calling the signals. Pitch to Bobby Faturo, and he'll gain a few. It looks like a whole new offensive line for FCA here.
Yeah, we've got Caleb Bailey in there, number 56 on the offensive line. Freshman Levi Bailey, his younger brother, number 73, another brother tandem tonight. Austin Mosley, number 60, in there on the offensive line. Jacob Walker split out wide at one wide receiver spot. And then we've got a fullback and tailback, Lane Toman, number 42 at fullback, and as you mentioned, Bobby Faturo at tailback.
Second and about 8.
And there goes Lane Toman.
Nice hole on the right side. He'll get up to the, we'll say the 35-yard line. It'll be 3rd and short. And it's good to recognize these kids because they get banged on a lot in practice. They're kind of the scout team, as it were, for the first teamers. The first teamers now, this offensive line, they got beat up by the seniors last year, and they grew a lot in practice. This is how you grow a football team. 3rd and short. Bobby Faturo up the middle, and I don't think he got it. Might be a little short.
You know, we've also got Jordan Brake out there at wide receiver. We've got Caleb Walls, a freshman. They're in on the offensive line.
1.
This is a good experience for the kids because New Miami has their first string in still, pretty much. And this is a good experience.
And now I see, looks like number 80, Michael Beatty, another freshman in there. On the left side is the tight end.
And the quarterback keeper will have to see where they spot the ball.
Now I see the official running in. It looked like
he's sending out their offense.
Yeah, looks like the Knights did get a first down.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not sure, you know, Jack, I'm not sure if they're sending in their offense or their second team guys. I'm not sure what New Miami's doing here.
1st and 10 for the Knights. 8:47 to go in the ball game. Next week we travel to Franklin Furnace, Ohio. You're the athletic director. Give me directions. Where is it? Is it Scioto County?
Yeah, for the next 2 weeks, if you head down to Scioto County towards Portsmouth, you'll find our next 2 opponents close to the river.
Back to pass. Zach Sullivan flushed out of the pocket. And fumble.
Looks like he fumbled the ball.
We'll see who comes up with it in the scrum. Now, my son Mark was telling me that one of these weeks down in Portsmouth they play at a historic stadium.
Yeah, in a couple of weeks we play Portsmouth Notre Dame, and we play at Spartan Stadium there in Portsmouth. Spartan Stadium was the home of the first professional football team in the United States. And that same stadium that they played in about 60 years ago is still there, and that's where Notre Dame plays their home games.
2nd and 12 for the Knights. I know the kids are pumped for that game to play in a historic venue like that. They were pumped to play at Fulton Field.
Yeah.
7:57 to go. Looks like Zach Sullivan is calling an audible. Back to pass. There's a short pass.
Jacob
Caught.
Walker.
Walker dropped as soon as he catches it, so it'll be 3rd and long. Looks like he lost a couple on that play.
Now I see Ryan Stalter coming into the game, number 66 for the Knights. I see Tyler Stevens
That's going to be 3rd down.
coming into the game for the Knights, number 14 at a wideout position.
Be a good ride home for the Knights. It's a long way down here. It's about 2.5-hour drive.
Yes.
Roughly.
Yes, just about 2.5 hours.
And that shows a lot, I think, for your football team. You take a 2.5-hour drive and come away with a victory here. There's a penalty flag, and there'll probably be motion on the Knights because it's not easy to travel 2.5 hours, get out and stretch and try to play a football game.
5 yards.
Yeah, and
still 3rd down.
Credit to the kids because they have really. We really don't have a home field per se, do we?
We really don't. We do play our home games here for the 2nd year in a row in New Lexington. It's a great field, but it's 27 miles from our school.
Now, is there any possibility of getting a football field?
Sure, there's always a possibility.
Yeah, with God, all things are possible.
But nothing on the horizon, nothing immediate.
Okay. There's a pass just out of reach. I was listening to, being a Clevelander, I was listening to Cleveland radio on the way down. And, you know, there are quite a few Cleveland schools that are football powerhouses. Not saying FCA is a football powerhouse, but you look at St. Ignatius, St. Ed's, Benedictine. These are schools that do not have a home football field. Right. They have to play just like FCA. They may have to travel. They may not have to travel 27 miles, but they do travel. And it's really a luxury when you're able to have your own football field, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, here we're looking in Lancaster at Fisher Catholic, right? A school that's been around for 140 plus years,
nice
and they've
punt.
got a proud tradition.
And that ball goes out of bounds off the hands of Cody Wallen, and that was a great punt by Zach Sullivan. Yeah, Fisher has a great tradition, but they don't have a home football. Yeah. They have Fulton Field, but that's not their own.
Right, and so yeah, you're right. There's a lot of great programs, traditional powers throughout the state of Ohio, throughout the United States that are private schools like us, Catholic schools that just haven't been able to add that to what they can do.
I think I was listening on the radio. It's like St. Edward's. Their schedule coming up. Wow, they're playing like 5 of the top 10 teams in the state of Ohio.
Yeah.
And nary a home game. There's a little sweep. And he may go.
Looks like he is going to.
That's Cody Brown.
That's a touchdown.
Going for the touchdown.
Vikings.
Penalty flag on the play.
Number 15, Cody Brown. We got a flag on the play.
And no, they're going to wave it off.
And that's probably about the 4th or 5th time tonight that the officials thrown a flag and then waved it off.
That is a touchdown for the Vikings.
So there goes the shutout for FCA. We'll call that I would say a 62-yard touchdown run by Cody Brown.
Yeah, and as I look out on the field on the Knights defense, they have one player, it looks like Tony Welch, who's a 2nd team defensive player. Everybody else is 3rd team or beyond.
So the point after to follow. with 6:24 to go. 41-6, the score. And we have, looks like Scott Jones on to do the point after. He's warming up his leg as if he's going to kick. Either that or he's going to try out for the Rockettes. Snap, and that's blocked. Penalty flag.
Hold still.
See if we can hear the officials call.
Looks like he's counting players. The Vikings,
Wait a minute,
for the second time tonight, have had 12 players on the field.
Illegal substitution.
And that is the case.
We'll retry it. 5 yards, retry.
So they'll back him up.
And I believe he's gonna call that a dead ball, so they're gonna get another try.
Okay, they place the ball at the, looks like the 9-yard line. There you see the new Miami band, marching band. Did a nice job for the Star Spangled Banner in the halftime show. High snap, and that's wide left. Timeout on the field, 6:24 to go in the game. FCA leads 41-6. Fourth quarter action, FCA and LSN, brought to you in part by Fairfield Mini Storage, the place to store your personal or business goods in a clean, dry unit within a gated facility. They have outside storage for RVs and boats. They're Lancaster source for Penske truck rentals. Fairfield Mini Storage, located at 2230 East Main Street in Lancaster. You can find them on the web at ffministorage.com. FCA and LSN also brought to you in part by Enfocus Consulting, the data agency, positioning and managing data in the marketplace. Enfocus Consulting provides data management from Lancaster, Ohio, and can be reached at 654-5809 or online at enfocusconsulting.com. Our sponsors for FCA football and LSN, Service Master Clean, it's Todd George. You can call him at 687-1077. Fairfield Christian Church. Roger Weaver, the law offices of Weaver Law. Fairfield Mini Storage, Frank E. Smith Funeral Home, Ohio University, Lancaster and Pickerington, Enfocus Consulting, Thompson Concrete, and Redeemer Lutheran Church.
Looks like the Knights are anticipating an onside kick.
Now they have, what would you say, about 10 in the box?
Yep, 10 guys.
And they got the good hands unit out.
Mm-hmm. Yep, running backs, wide receivers.
Which means my son, Mark, is not on there. He's number 75.
Okay.
Now, even though he plays first base, you know, for the varsity team and pitches in baseball, they don't have him out there.
Yeah, maybe if they gave him a glove, he could run out there.
There's Zach Sullivan trying to bring it in. He will on the 8 and falls at about the 11.
Number 10, Zach Sullivan on the return.
Another hit after the whistle. Number 75 for the Vikings. He and 32, Colin Young, have been going back and forth all game. He gave Colin a shot, knocked him on his rear end about 5 seconds after the whistle had blown.
There's our friendly statistician behind us, Michael Byers, and we thank him for the halftime stats. He does a great job for FCA. How long have you been doing stats?
I've been working with Dave when he was in London.
In London, huh? So you go way back with Coach Daubenmeier. And so does Coach Emmets too, doesn't he? Yeah. So it's like the Holy Trinity, huh? Could you say? Nah, we won't go that far. 6:17 to go in the game. Sullivan over center. There's a quick hitter out to Tony Welch. Slips a tackle and gains a couple.
I see Kyle Stalter in there, number 81, at one wide out position for the Knights as they continue to substitute and get players into the game.
Number 2, Tony Welch on the reception.
And then number 58 at center, Dutchin Mitchell, was in last series.
Now Zach Sullivan will probably be the quarterback next year. So this is good experience for Zach. He is a good athlete as well.
Mm-hmm.
Flip. Fumbled picked up by Bobby Faturo and might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage.
Looked like he wanted to head upfield before he had possession. Pretty common mistake.
3rd and 7. 5:15 to go in the ball game.
You know, Jack, here we are approaching the last 5 minutes of our third game. And in the 2 games plus that we played, our defense has given up, our first team defense has given up a total of 6 points.
Zach overthrows the intended receiver, which was Jacob Walker, 6'1" sophomore. The FCA will punt it away.
If you go back to our first game against Millersport, they scored 6 points, but that was a defensive touchdown for them, picking up a fumble,
right. That's
running
right.
it back. We give up 6 points. Fairfield Christian Academy did last week. First team defense against Fisher Catholic in a 26-7 win. 6 points and an extra point. And then the 6 points that the Vikings have scored this evening was on third team guys primarily for the Knights.
Sullivan will stand at his 3-yard line to receive the snap. And we got a penalty flag. Ball's away, comes near side, hits at about the 50, takes an FCA bounce. Will be downed inside the 40 at about the 37, but let's see why they are going to bring this back.
Yeah, we can tack on 5. We can tack 5 on.
They're not. It's on FCA. Looked like the referee was motioning for them to come down, but New Miami will take the ball over on the punt. Next week, Franklin Furnace, Ohio, Green High School.
You know, Jack, I'll repeat what I said in the first half, and that is I'm really surprised. I never would have anticipated this lopsided of a score tonight based upon last year. You know, the fact that, again, the Vikings last year rushed for over 500 yards against the Knights. Even in a loss, the Knights really gained the advantage last year because of the Viking turnovers. And then here we are this year with a Knights team that lost 10 seniors off of last year's team. We talked about the fact they lost 4 of the 5 offensive starters off the offensive line.
There.
A lot of those guys played both ways. So this was just not anticipated at all, especially after the Vikings won their first game and scored 28 points in a 2-point loss in their second game. And the Knights line up with their reserves again.
1st and 10 for New Miami.
Could be another long play.
Williams, and he's brought down for a first down.
Clay Williams on the carry.
Looked like maybe Dutch and Mitchell was in on the tackle for the Knights that time.
15-yard gain moves the chains.
I see freshman number 83 Jeremiah Lee out there at defensive end for the Knights. Jordan Brake, a defensive back, number 20. Same play to the other side.
Nice play there. Fumble, but he is ruled down by contact.
Number 15 Cody Brown on the carry.
Looked like Mark Davidson hit him initially in the backfield, slowed him down.
Couldn't hold on to him.
And Jeremiah Lee ended up finishing off the tackle there.
I was going to comment, Jeremiah Lee had wrestled them down quite nicely. Mark had the initial hit, but slipped out of his grasp. 2nd and 5 with 3.5 to go in the ball game. Bad snap. Who'll get it first? That'll be New Miami. Number 10, Demazio Driscoll. 5'9", 150-pound freshman quarterback.
Looked like Caleb Bailey was in there, and then the ball was a touchdown by James Hammer, number 67 for the Knights on that last play.
Third and long.
I see Caleb Martin in there, number 22, on the defensive line for the Knights.
Hole for Markham, and he's brought down by number 20, Jordan Brake. Nice play by Jordan. Fourth and long. And looks like they're going to go for it. Why not? Coach Jewett's talking to his freshman quarterback. Do we play New Miami again next year?
They are not on the schedule at this time.
Okay.
And once again, we've got another brother tandem out there. The Stalter brothers, number 66 and number 81 defensively for the Knights.
Driscoll back to pass. Pass to Markham. And he is brought down short of the first down.
Looks like Lane Toman on the hit for the Knights. Number 42.
So the Knights take the ball over on downs with 1:43 to go in the ball game. Want to thank the sponsors once again of FCA Football and LSN. Service Master Clean. It's Todd George. You can call him at 687-1077. Fairfield Christian Church. Weaver Law Offices. Fairfield Mini Storage. Frankie Smith Funeral Home. Ohio University, Lancaster and Pickerington. N-Focus Consulting. Thompson Concrete, and Redeemer Lutheran Church.
Another new player that the Knights have been shuffling in and out the last couple of series on offense, number 36, freshman Colin Blackwell. You know, another factor, Jack, as you think about who you're going to play and how much you're going to play here on a Friday night, is the fact that the JVs, these guys that are on the field now, are going to turn around tomorrow morning and play at 11 a.m. at Grove City Christian.
That'll be a first down completion.
27, Jacob Walker.
Jacob Walker receives that pass from Tony Welch.
First down for the Knights.
So here we are near Cincinnati.
And we'll be getting home at about...
Yeah, they're gonna eat and shower after the game, probably get home after midnight.
Yep.
Maybe close to 1 o'clock, and then turn around and be in Grove City at 10:15 tomorrow morning. So it's a factor.
It is. But I still love road trips. First down for the Knights, 1:13 to go. Welch on the draw. Bobby Faturo with a nice gain. As we reach the 60-second mark, 60 seconds to go and counting in this ball game tonight.
Jack, I'm going to say as we wind down to maybe one of the last one or two plays, I'm going to look for Jacob Walker on a reverse here. See if this play, or if they get one more play, see if the Knights run that play. Okay. And as I look onto the field, I see Jacob Walker is not on the field.
Penalty flag.
We got a flag on the play.
29 and a half seconds to go.
6 men on the line on the offense.
Now my question is, a couple of years ago we played one of the schools I went to, Lutheran East. Are they in the mix at all?
No, they were scheduled.
I want to take a road trip to Cleveland. We've gone down to Cincinnati twice.
Yeah. They and us mutually agreed that we could probably both find closer opponents.
Yeah.
That could.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. Welch on the rollout. Looking for Tyler Stevens. Incomplete. 7.7 seconds to go. It'll be third down for the Knights on what may be the last play of the ball game. But whenever I say that, we usually get one more in.
Yeah.
So it'll be third and long. Tony Welch on the draw. And Bobby Faturo will get to the line of scrimmage, and that's the ball game. Final score here at New Miami. FCA comes away with a third win on the season, beating the Vikings 41-6. Both teams now are going to assemble at midfield for the congratulatory handshake and the show of sportsmanship. And then the Knights will huddle up and listen to Coach Daubenmire. He usually has in a nice tradition. He'll get to one side of the field and have not only just a little devotion, but a little talk to the players that you'll see the fans in the stands gather around him. It'd be nice if one time, talk to JT if we'd have a cord long enough to get it out there so they could listen to him. And then the Knights will join in a singing of a stand up for Jesus.
Yeah, it is a great tradition that Coach Daubenmire started here when he came here 4 years ago, 5 years ago. So, yeah, the fans get into it.
Here for the middle school's football game, first game of the season versus North College Hill.
And it is Fairfield Christian Academy's desire, as we typically pray after volleyball games, basketball games, especially with our MoCal opponents. So it's nice to carry that on and remind everybody what it's all about.
We had the opportunity to have the team meal last night, and he said something, Coach Daubenmire said something to the kids afterwards as they were going to volleyball games. They were wearing their jerseys because they had a walkthrough. And he said, remember why you're wearing that jersey and whose jersey you're wearing. You're not wearing it for yourself. You're wearing it representing this institution and your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, which is that's what it's all about. Mm-hmm. It's a classy thing to say, but it's something that the kids represent FCA in the community well, don't they?
Yeah, and that's what makes the sacrifice possible for, like you say, for the parents. When you talked earlier about the sacrifice tuition-wise and so forth, that's what makes it worthwhile for me as an athletic director, as a teacher, and our staff and our coaches. That is what it's all about.
If you take a look at the field there, you can see, Jeremy, if you can kind of turn around and take a look at the huddle. There's the post-game prayer, and Coach Daubenmire will now address the families and the student athletes at FCA and what becomes a nice tradition, and then they'll sing stand up for Jesus, ye soldiers of the cross. 41-6 the final score. Mr. B, any last thoughts?
Yeah, I'm just gonna continue to expand a little bit on what we were just talking about. A lot of fans will notice that Dave Daubenmire, our coach, doesn't wear an FCA hat. He's got a hat with FCA colors, but it's got a cross on it. Our assistants wear a similar hat. And you know what? We're not perfect. We don't have perfect kids, perfect teachers, perfect parents, perfect community. And so, we are fallen. We need grace just like everybody else. But we do try to be what we need to be and represent the Lord in a positive way.
Absolutely. The only thing perfect about FCA is that the record is 3-0 right now for the football team. They win 41-6. They travel to Franklin Furnace, Ohio next week to take on Green High School. So for our media team, JT Burcham, Jeremy Hall, Caleb Kandra, Austin Starkey, Joe McCoy, Andrew Lundell, Alex Carroll, Jesse McCoy, Dane Alexander, and Athletic Director Rob Bowler. This is Jack Davidson. Thanking you for watching FCA on LSN. Final score FCA 41, New Miami 6.
FCA on LSN.
Thanks for watching FCA on LSN.
Thanks for watching FCA on LSN.